everyone, welcome back to Pommyinoz, and today what we're doing is we're looking at the big men of the AFL. We did the little guys, the midfielders that helped them out. Today we're going to go through the 18 rucks. We have eliminated some for injuries, so it's the 18 that we expect to start round one. So there is no Tom de Koning in this video. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. First of all, if you are new around here, please drop a like, please drop a subscribe. It does mean the world to me. We're well on the road to 1,000, so send some love my way, please. So let's start off. Adelaide Football Club. This guy needs no introduction. Riley O'Brien. He's a top player and one of the future of this comp. And you can see here we've separated it into some kind of simile stats. So what we've done is these are per game. So because obviously they play scattered game time, we've tried to create an equaliser. So this is based on 120 minutes of football with the AFL average taken into account on the ground. So everyone is literally playing the same minutes at the same time. So Riley O'Brien, he averages, when we ran that out and adjust it, 37.1 hitouts per game. 11 of them hitouts are to advantage. That's 5.54 tackles, 18.6 disposals, 2.2 clearances, 0.11 goals, and that works out at roughly 178 touches. 0.8 he will have per goal. Really solid ruckman, and definitely one that we're looking in the future to break the Grundy-Gawn monopoly we have in the AFL. Up next is new ruckman, new centre, key guy for Brisbane, taken on the mantle from Stephen Martin last year, and he's now running with it solely, and that is Oscar McInerney. Kind of a cult figure in the AFL circles, and you can see why. 28.8 hitouts per game, 7.2 of them are to advantage, 4.5 tackles, he's really up there, 13.2 disposals, not known for his disposal nows, he's not that type of hit ruckman, 4.3 clearances, 0.83 goals a game, he's a very dangerous, crafty third tall as we know, 15.8 touches will produce a goal, which is really high, and it shows how Brisbane play. Bit different how they set up, and he is a formidable forwardman. Up next, Carlton, my team, and we've gone with Mark Pitternet because TDK looks to be out for a bit of the year. As you can see, 34.1 hitouts per game. He's a real high-end ruckman. People forget about that. And 10.4 hitouts to advantage. With the midfield he's got, that's going to be an impressive stat. Also, you've got to remember as well, currently he doesn't have max game time. He's going to get that. 2.9 tackles per game, so that's something that he's got to look to improve. 12.7 touches in a full game, 4.7 clearances, 0.01 goals, 157 touches per goal. It's something that he needs to probably add to his ruck craft, his ability to get up forward and kick goals. Up next, many people's pick for the best ruckman in the competition. 44.6 hitouts per game for Brodie Grundy. 12.4 of them are hitouts to advantage. 5.1 tackles per game. 20.4 touches, phenomenal effort. 4.5 clearances. 0.44 goals a game. 56 touches, 0.1 per goal. You can see why these are elite numbers. These are formidable numbers. Not only does he get a lot of hitouts, not only does a lot of them go to advantage, but also he acts as an extra midfielder. And 0.4 goals per game is quite tasty, bearing in mind he's a ruckman. Another new boy here, Essendon Sam Draper. 27.5 hitouts per game. 7.6 of them are hitouts to advantage. 2.8 tackles per game. 12.3 disposals per game, 2.8 clearances, 0.19 goals, working out 66 disposals per goal. As obviously he gets more game time, and obviously he's going to get that this year, I expect to see these numbers. It's a little bit flawed, this system, because he's one of the few that has a small body of work, but pretty decent stats, and one that I expect to really burst out in 2021. Fremantle, Sean Darcy, 34 hitouts on the button, 10.8 of them are to advantage, 2.7 tackles, a little bit slack in that area, 19.3 disposals, 4.4 clearances though, he does do a lot of his own work, 0.43 per game, another guy that gets really in amongst it, 34 touches, 0.9 equates to a goal. Pretty impressive, and he's definitely one for the future as well. He's going to get better. Up next, Geelong, Reece Stanley. Love him or hate him, but he is their ruck. 29 hit-outs per game, 6.8 of them to advantage. Bit slack in the tackle department, 1.9. 19.3 touches, 4.4 clearances, so he does do a lot of his own work. 0.99 goals per game, which is very impressive. 17.9 touches per goal. Real solid player, does mop up his own ball as well, gets the snags. Top player. He's going to be in the reckoning. Jared Witt's old-timer here. He's been around a long time, and you can see why. 39.3 hit-outs per game. 11.9 of them hit-outs to advantage. 2.2 tackles per game. He's got a lot of young players around him who do the tackling for him. 14.1 touches, that works out. 4.4 clearances. 0.31 goals per game. A goal every 57 touches. Pretty impressive stuff from the old-timer. Obviously, he's slowing down, though. Be interesting to see who's going to try and usurp him, if anyone, this year. GWS, another new boy, a guy that I highly rate. Braden Preuss probably made the biggest, maddest career decision ever to go to Melbourne when he wanted game time. But his numbers do stack up. 35.7 hit-outs per game. 11.7 of them at advantage. It's the clubhouse top 3. 0.6 tackles per game, though. Needs to improve his defensive craft. 12.8 touches, 1.1 clearances, 0.81 goals per game, 17.8 touches per goal. He's going to offer a bit of an attacking threat. GWS do have high tackle numbers, so they can compensate and clearance for him. But it's going to be interesting to see if he can improve them numbers, because he improves them numbers, he is a threat. Johnny Segler now at Hawthorn, 34.1 hit-outs per game, 7.9 of them to advantage, staggering 4 tackles per game, real high-end numbers them. 17.1 touches per game with 4.9 of them are clearances. They are very good numbers, and the clubhouse leader at this stage. 0.71 per goals and 24 touches equates to a goal from him. Real solid ruckman, someone who is underrated, does his job very well. And you've got to remember, he has been competing with Ben McAvoy, who is himself a very able ruckman. Another guy that I expect to see really go leaps and bounds. Now he's probably the sole ruckman there. Melbourne up next, Maxi Gawn. He needs no introduction, does he? He's got 42.4 hit-outs per game, 13.8. The leader in the clubhouse of hit-outs to advantage. 3.2 tackles, 20.6 disposals, and 4.4 clearances. Absolute jet of a player. 0.63 goals per game. Works out 31.9 touches is all he needs per goal. And you can see them numbers are absolutely mind-bogglingly elite when we look at them. And he is an absolute jet. For me, it's hard to split between the best ruckman in the comp. But he's up there. Definitely in the reckoning. North, another old-timer here. Toddy Goldstein, 36.2 hit-outs per game. 9.5 of them are to advantage. With 2.7 tackles, he does do his fair share of grafting. Probably needs to improve it, but it's not going to happen with his age. 19.5 disposals, 6.7 clearances. Staggering. Might not tackle. Doesn't have to when he's getting them clearances. 0.72 goals a game. In his later years, it is something he's added. He is a dangerous guy up there. 15.2 touches equates to a goal. Mind-boggling stuff. Up next now, Scotty Lycett at Port. Probably the forgotten man in the ruck department. This guy is a winner of the flag. You've got to remember that. 35.4 hit-outs per game. 11.4 of them to advantage. 3.9 tackles with a 16.6 average per game based on the same amount. 5.2 clearances. It is insane. 0.76 goals a game. We know he likes to craft up forward. 25 touches equate to a goal. Real good ruckman. Real solid ruckman. And I'm a big fan of Scotty Lycett. Probably doesn't get the love he deserves. Richmond, Nang Curvis, Nang the Tank, 28.9 hit-outs per game. Now, it's interesting because you look at Oscar McInerney, very similar numbers. You can see talented midfielders don't need that extra mid, that extra dominance because their midfield carry the load. 8.1 hit-outs to advantage. This is where he separates it, though. He's very good at tackling. Would work out at 7 tackles per game. 19.6 disposals, 4.2 clearances, 0.53 goals per game, 40.6 touches equates to a goal. Solid, solid work. Up next, a favourite of mine and another guy that's going to try and break that monopoly of the big three, and that is none other than Rowan Marshall. Solid footballer, 20.5 hitouts, which is phenomenal considering he does about 60% of the rucking. 6.4 hitouts to advantage, something that he probably does need to look at improving. 3 tackles a game, 19.7 touches, just under 4 clearances, 0.8 goals a game, and 29.4 touches equate to a goal. Real solid numbers from Rowan, and someone that I expect to see really just go up about 10-20% and really be in the reckoning. Tom Hickey at Sydney, interesting pickup for them. 29 hitouts per game, 10.3 of them at advantage, 2.1 tackles a game, 11 touches per game, 4 clearances, 0.47 goals a game, working out at 37.7 touches per game, per goal per game. Not a bad effort for him. They're very solid numbers. Definitely, I wouldn't say a frontline ruckman though. I think he's definitely going to be looking at one of the younger kids to really step up. Now, West Coast, this guy I think is underrated. And when you look at his if we equalise it and everyone plays at the same time, these numbers are frightening. 50.3 hitouts per game, 14.7 hitouts per game to advantage. Clubhouse leader in both departments. 4.1 tackles, 19.5 touches, 9.8 clearances a game. This guy is a beast. A goal a game, 20.5 disposals per goal. The clubhouse leader in 90% of them departments. He is a jet. And Timmy English, probably everyone's favourite to break the top 3. 21.9 hitouts per game, 6.6 hitouts to advantage, 3 tackles, 18.4 disposals, 3 clearances, 0.52 goals a game. That equates to 35.9 in a game per goal. This isn't bad. Very solid player is Timmy English. And let's see how that equates if we broaden that and create a ranking system. So we'll go from 5th to 1st. In at 5. Core position of 48 out of a best case 7 is Scotty Lyser. He would be the 5th median ruckman. 4, Todd Goldstein. 3, Brodie Grundy. Settling the debate, Gorn is statistically a better ruckman across all ruck departments. And the unadulterated number 1, Nick Natanui. Number 1 ruckman in the comp based on stats. Per game, per goal. Very, very solid player. I would agree with that. I think Nick Natanui, if he played the same amount of game time, would destroy the comp. I think he is the best ruckman in the comp. Let me know where you guys and girls sit. There's the rankings on the screen from 1st to 18th. Where do you rate them? Where do you think they'll change? Do you think there will be a breach if we do this at the end of the year? Let me know in the comments. We'll have a discussion. Till next time, Pom out.